What's up, Think Media TV, helping move further, faster in media. Sean here today with Bryan Allain, who's a writer and blogger for over 10 years. He's written for Relevant Magazine. He's written for Stuff Christians Like. He's written for The Daily Beast. And he helps small businesses, churches, individuals find their tribe at killertribes.com. How's it going, Bryan?
Going well, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Great to have you. Man, today we're going to be talking about specifically strategies for extending the reach of an organization, whether small business, church, a nonprofit, about building your community online and off, and some other stuff like that. So first of all, you're coming from killertribes.com, and a lot of our viewers probably know kind of this concept of tribes. Some maybe don't. So for those who aren't sure, give kind of a quick explanation of the tribes concept.
Yeah. I think Seth Godin probably popularized the term tribes a couple years ago with the book he wrote. And so probably a lot of his thinking has formed kind of my definition of tribes. But for me, what a tribe is a group of people who buy into what you're doing, who buy into the things that move you, the things that you're passionate about, the things that you're sharing about, whether it's on a blog or from a pulpit or in your writing, in print or online, whatever. Your tribe are the people who kind of resonate with you and track with you. Sometimes you'll have super hardcore devoted fans. Some people will just be casual followers, but all of them together will kind of make up your tribe.
And you've explained a lot, but why is that a big deal for a business, a church, a startup, a nonprofit?
It's a huge deal because, so much of business is moving online now. And everybody needs, if you're trying to sell something, you need people to sell to. If you're trying to get your art out there, you want people to share it with. No matter what you're doing, you want to connect with other people, and more so now than ever before, we're doing that online. We're connecting online. We've got probably we're more involved in our communities online than we are in our real life communities, which some might argue is a bad thing, but it's just kind of the reality of the way it is now. So if you want to share what you're doing, you need a group of people to share it to.
That's great. Now over at killertribes.com, you're helping people build their tribes and become better at communicating with their tribes. What are some of the key strategies maybe that you could just throw out there that the viewer could take away and implement right away?
Well, the number one thing for anybody, no matter if you're a blogger, a writer, an artist, entrepreneur in ministry, is to be passionate about, to be all about what moves you. I specialize in blogging, having been a blogger for 10 years, and so that's kind of where most of my examples lie. But nobody wants to read a blog written by someone who doesn't care about a subject. I might love NFL football, but if you don't and you're writing a blog about it, it's not going to be interesting to me at all. And so the number one thing is, and it goes for everyone from pastors to business people, is to start a tribe focused on the things that move you and the things you're passionate about, because that's the kind of thing that you can't fake. And if you really are truly moved by something and passionate about it, it gives you the best chance to attract other people who are going to be passionate about the same things.
So there's natural energy that comes behind that. People can actually see that you get excited about, and there's authenticity because it's heartfelt and it's an authentic passion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some people are afraid to really give in to that fully because whether it's they don't want to look like they're some crazy psycho really into something, or they're afraid they're going to turn people off. But the truth is, you really want to build your tribe around people who are researching it. If your thing is college football, let's say, go with another sports example, then be all about it, and you're going to turn away people who don't care, and that's okay. Those aren't the readers you want, but the people who do resonate with what you're doing are going to be all in. Those are the people who are going to tell other people about what you're doing. And so people be hesitant sometimes to really focus in on a niche and focus in on a passion. That's kind of the best place to start.
I love it. And so what about maybe another one? What would you say number 2 is?
Let's see. After you you're really found something that you're passionate about. And maybe if that's one, then a 1A would be don't be afraid to experiment. When it comes to blogging, maybe you're stuck between 2 different things. You don't know what you want to blog about. Just try one of them. You can paralyze yourself with not making decisions. There's so much to be said for taking a step forward and taking action. And I guess that would kind of roll into my second point, which is to actually take steps to do things. Where I am now with Killer Tribes as a business compared to where I am a year ago, I've done a lot in this past calendar year. Mentally, I could maybe say that I still have a lot of the same doubts and fears that I did a year ago. I still wonder some days, am I qualified to do this? Do I really have something to say to help people out? Some days I feel like I do, some days I feel like I don't, but I can look back and say, you know what, despite those doubts and fears, I took action. I tried things. I failed a lot of times. I occasionally found something that worked. And because of that, I'm making progress, not because my mindset has really progressed. It's more just I'm taking actions. I'm finding out what works and what doesn't. So I think that's a great piece of advice for folks as well.
I love it. So hone in on your passion, and then take radical action and just start going for it, and don't look back. That's phenomenal. So within this concept, there's some that are doing that. I'm sure they're doing it well for their niche and context. But what are some of the mistakes, maybe biggest mistakes you're seeing an organization do that is actually not going to build their tribe, but is going to divide it or shrink it, or just it's not working? They're doing things you notice that maybe are present in some of the viewers' organizations that they could tweak to help.
A great example of some mistakes I've seen that kind of include blogging are when businesses or even churches decide they want to start a blog because it sounds like a good idea, but they don't really have anybody on staff that wants to do it. Mm-hmm. If it's a chore, that kind of gets thrown to the guy or the woman who has the most writing experience but really doesn't want to do it. I was just talking to a friend the other day and was telling him that having a bad blog is much worse than not having a blog at all. And that's not to say that there's this high standard where you got to be posting 5 times a week. You got to be right on point. Everything's got to be a home run. Nothing like that. But, if you're struggling to write 2 or 3 posts a month and you're not really into it, the name of the book that I wrote is 31 Days to Finding Your Blogging Mojo. And that's an example of the exact opposite of what I was talking about in the book. And some businesses think we got to get a blog. We got to get something up online. But if you're not passionate about it, if it's not a core part of what somebody wants to do, then it's probably a good idea just to wait.
Gotcha. So a huge mistake is maybe just jumping in the buzz of getting on a platform like blogging or launching something, but not having the drive and the passion behind that. So it becomes, I heard Justin Wise mention ghost town syndrome. It just kind of becomes a place that's not updated. And you're saying that's worse. Why even do it at all? So if you can't sustain it and keep it updated.
Yeah. And Justin certainly knows what he's talking about. So I think that's a great way to put it, ghost town syndrome. And it's even something that I struggle with because the truth of the matter is there's all these different outlets, Killer Tribes has a website, Killer Tribes has a Facebook page and a Twitter handle, and it can be a struggle to keep all of those things updated. And I don't do as good a job as I'd like to do sometimes, but you definitely know what you're getting into before you start.
Okay, so you mentioned, we talked about this, you have killertribes.com, and now you guys are about to do a conference called the Killer Tribes Conference. Tell me a little bit about that and what people could expect.
Yeah, the conference I'm really excited about it. It's happening in Nashville, Tennessee, March 31st. It's a Saturday. It's a one-day event. And really what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring in people from all different sectors, people from the church world, people, published authors, business folks, people from the music industry, to really just talk about the broad concepts around building a tribe. And we will get specific. We'll have some breakout sessions in the afternoon. on some different tracks, but really just want to bring a lot of value for folks who are trying to build their tribes. The tagline for the conference is expand your reach, find your fans, and build your tribe. And so that's really, we want attendees to walk away inspired and encouraged to chase after their dreams and to and hopefully have some knowledge around the tools that are out there to feel like they're going to work harder and they're going to be able to work smarter to achieve those goals and to build up their tribes.
I love it. And where can people get information about that on your blog, right? killertribes.com?
Yep. Yeah, they can go to BryanAllain.com and there's some information on there, but killertribesconference.com is a specific page for the conference, so they could go to killertribes.com and they could find the link there as well. And right now, we don't have a schedule up yet. We do have most of the speakers on the page and a link to register and all that good stuff. So
perfect. And then lastly, how can people connect with you? Where are you at online? And mention some of the things that you have available. You mentioned in this call the book you wrote, things like that. What's out there if people want to connect more with you?
Yeah. I've been blogging for 10 years. I write a humor blog, which is at my name. It's BryanAllain.com, BryanAllain.com. So you can find me there. I try to write 5 days a week there, and inspirational stuff and hopefully funny stuff. And I'm on Twitter.com at Twitter.com/BryanAllain as well. And then you can check out my book. It's at 31daystomojo.com. Or you can search blogging on Amazon.com. I just found out this weekend that it's the number 4 book on Amazon when you search blogging. So,
hey.
Yeah, that was a thrill to find that out. So I've got a lot of great feedback on that, and it's a pretty short book of just helping bloggers kind of find their way through the first 30 days, whether they're beginning bloggers or they've been blogging for a while, to kind of get their mojo back. So lots of places to find me online, but those are a few.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this call. Think Media TV, helping you move further, faster in media. Man, I strayed a long way, far away from, got lost along the way where I came from.
Make sure to subscribe to the Think International YouTube channel for more interviews, resources, and training videos. You can also visit our website at thinkintl.tv for more great content and sign up for our email list for news and updates. Think International, training the next generation of leaders and creatives.
Movements, because I think that movements, the form and the kind of dynamic of movements is really the way forward for the church in the West.
What's up? Day one, Calibrate Northwest.
Think International, hopping out of the golf cart. Welcome.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Sean. Kabam!
How would you suggest staying on top of social media and trending and all that, because it's moving ahead so fast?
I kind of view it the same way I view push-ups, right? You've got to do it. Like, if you read about push-ups, it's unlikely that you're going to get the guns. Clearly, I've been reading about push-ups and not doing them. So, it's great to read the book, but if you don't go in and do it, nothing's going to happen.
What's up, everybody? Think International, bringing you the best and brightest leaders of our generation. I'm here in beautiful Ventura with a man, a myth, a legend, Pastor Jude Fuqua, pastor of the City Church Ventura. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Isn't the weather good here?
It's beautiful. It's unreal. I mean, back there, this is nuts. Ocean, incredible. Now, you came down from Seattle, the City Church Seattle.